Hi, welcome to the SA Super League, another week, round 7 wrapping up. I'm your host TJ. I'm joined today with my sparring partner Stuart Forbes.
Yeah, afternoon TJ, afternoon Tyson. Thanks for having me.
And of course from the South Eastern Spartans, Tyson Wilson. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Good. Well, hey, look, another great week wrap up here that we go into. We're heading into finals. The Super League, I guess the home and away. You call it home and away?
Yeah, I guess you can.
Been wrapped up. Look, we're going to review the finals for Friday night, 6 and 8 p.m. So elimination prelim, finals, winner of the one game going straight through the grand final. And then we'll be interviewing Tyson, who, you've heard commentary on the show. I can't speak enough of him and his playing partner, Nathan Black. Been tremendous performance. We'll get into what makes Tyson tick. Look, as mentioned, the SA Super League minor rounds have been concluded. There was, out of the top 4 going in, we mentioned between the Comets, I guess, and the Spartans, there was a hit out to who was going to finish in the top position. They both get a double chance. And I'll tell you what, the results really fell in the way of the Chargers. The Raiders didn't pick up a point.
Yeah, I guess you could say a pretty fortunate night for the Chargers. Naturally, they got the results that they needed, but I think for the Raiders to get nothing on the board at all was probably came to a shock to many.
It is. So anyway, let's get into it. So no time like the present. Let's have a look at the Southern Blazers versus the Mallee Pirates. You can see on the screen that the Blazers, they entered in 8th position, finished in 7th, getting a good win over the Pirates, 63-47, with Ben Fidock defeated by Simon Dorr, 11-25, with Simon Dorr on fire in that game from what we caught. Stuart. Dylan Lewis, Ash Wiley defeated Adam Forms, Josh Thompson 29-6, and Harry Burgess, Brenton Speed, Gav Pfeiffer defeating Kath Greenslade, Gary Thompson, and Gary Meekums 23-16. We actually had that one in front of us.
Yeah, it was great. And for the pairs in particular, those McLaren boys can bowl. I know they were on the farthest rink away from us, but every so often you'd just be seeing Josh Thompson driving it. What seemed to be almost hopelessly at points, because nothing that either he or Adam Forbes, which pains me to say, being my brother, just couldn't do anything to slow that roll.
Yeah, look, and yet again we said a couple of previous weeks that the pairs combination is proving the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're getting a bit of a difference in that scoreline that is proving the overall on the board. Next game, South Eastern Comets taking on the Eastern Raiders. We discussed earlier the Comets entering the round on top, looking to consolidate on top. 12 points, 56-40, so 16 shots overall. Ash Hall's in another close one. He seems to have these one-shot wins, 17-16. Well done, Ash. Really proving that mental toughness that Ash has shown game after game. Ben Harris and Josh Thompson defeated Steve Grant and Carl Sharple 16-14. Again, another close one. But the damage was done in the triples with Jackie Gardner and Cass Harvey, James Gregory defeating Dwayne Edwards, Michael Lodge, Chris Flavel 23-10. I've got to say, Chris Flavel, that one game, he did come up to after the game. It's interesting, every single team, every single individual result that I picked last week, I got wrong.
There you go.
I got wrong.
And going into that rink in the triples have been undefeated as well.
Yep.
They were just taking on everyone in stride and getting the results. But the James Gregory triple seems to just persevere and carry on. But
Yep.
I think when we were looking over in that first game, they were down on all 3 rinks early on, and you thought, well, this might not be the night for the Comets. But 20 minutes later, everything's looking really good and in the Comets' favour.
Yep, exactly right. Moving right along, so embarrassingly so, because there was a tip I did in this one as well. South Eastern Spartans squaring off against the Western Rogues, which I picked the Western Rogues, so I've been told not to do that again by Michael Waldash. Spartans entering the second round, needing a win, needing a couple of results to go their way, but securing 12 points. So they did everything they needed to do. But the result with the Comets not going their way to consolidate on top. But Blake Phoebe defeating Sam Dietrich 26-5. Nathan Black and Tyson Wilson defeating Brady Slater and Ash Close 22-11. I know that Tyson had a bit of a chuckle there before against my poor picking last week. I actually did pick Slater and Close to win that one. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah,
Rate you got, yeah, I know. I do rate you, but I thought the run's got to come to an end eventually. My apologies, mate. But you know, I'm your number one fan here on the show. So well done for making. Oh, it's good that you made me wrong. Daryl Stock, Tony Devlin, and Ken Holtham defeated Di Murch, Kate Argent Bowden, and Simon Gita Johnson 22-17. It goes without saying it sealed up.
Pretty disappointing campaign for the Rogues, I guess you could say, and I think that just summed up the strength of what the Spartans are capable of. Naturally you tipped against Tyson here in the pairs, but not all runs come to an end. Just ask Forrest Gump.
And yet you go, we're flowing on from Friday night, and Forbesy's got a Forrest Gump quote in there.
Yeah, we're making a habit of movie quotes.
We are at the moment. And finally, round 7 concluded with the Northern Knights taking on the Central Chargers. The Knights consolidating in third position, but the Chargers coming from 6th up into 4th. Adrian Green defeating Darren Warner 25-6, and look, Adrian Green's been in stellar form the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes into the finals. Fergus Roundtree and Mark Haynes defeated Yvonne Kelly and Kane Cools 12-11. That's 18 ends, 23 shots. That's close. And Kane Goldsworthy, Ben Bowman, Craig Mills defeated Matt Short, Todd Brandt, and Luke Pettersmire 29-9. I reckon sometime during that game, Craig Mills got a motivational yell from the crowd.
Yeah, someone went absent from the commentary pit for a minute, and not too sure who. Won't name any names.
I can tell you he definitely heard it, because I definitely found out about it after the game that he definitely heard it. But, hey, it got him across the line, and now he has lost his nickname. So we'll move right along. So look, that's a wrap for round 7. Really, Forbesy, mate, let's have a look. Mate, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, before we go into the finals campaign and who's playing who, I think we should defer to our guest in front of us, and Tyson Wilson from the Grange Bowling Club and South East Spartans, and I think it brings in no better segue than to pass you the torch for a bit of TJ's torch.
All right, Tyson, thanks for joining us today. South Eastern Spartans, you represent Grange on a pennants. You've look, mate, what's it like to play up with some of your team, but against some of the state's best bowlers?
Yeah, well, as you can tell, all of our team, we don't have any really state players in our team, but we're all just gelling really well, and we're loving every challenge that we come up against each week against state bowlers.
Yep. So there's one thing that I didn't focus on, and I'm funny enough reading the thing before the show. You're probably the only player that's been undefeated the whole series, except for a draw.
Yeah, well, me and Nathan.
Yep. Nathan's not here at the moment, mate. It's all about you at the moment. We'll get to Nathan later. What's the secret to that success, mate?
We just take one game at a time and just try and get a few wins together in each end, get ourselves out to a bit of a lead and go on from there.
During the season, Super League season, we spoke with Mark Casey in relation to being down in a game, what it takes to get back, and the one memorable game for me in the Super League that I commentated was Scott Tholburn and James Gregory against Nathan Black and yourself, and you came to get that draw. Mate, how did it feel during that game? Did you ever feel that you'd lost any sort of handle on that game?
I never felt like we were out of the game because we still had our 2 power plays left to use, and we just thought get ourselves back to 5 shots and just edge it back slowly, and
I can tell you, it's been a talking point, that game, clawing back in there. So, young player, tremendous amount of travel. Have you found the Super League a good opportunity to develop further as a player?
Oh yeah, well you get to play against all the state's best bowlers, and you see people that you don't really know that much, like people in the country I've never really seen bowl, and them coming in and bowling really well, and it's been good. Yep.
What's it like at Grange? I mean, you've got a couple of pretty well-known players down there. You've got some current state players. What's it like to bowl amongst the likes of Shadow, Scat, Rudy?
With Shadow, sometimes it can be a bit interesting, but But no, they're all really good guys, and you learn a lot from them. Like, I played 3 for Scat for a while, and I learned so much off them.
Yep. So a bit of news this week coming out for the first time you've been picked in the state squad.
Yeah.
Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
What's that mean for future goals for you?
I guess next would just be bowl well at state trainings and trials, and hopefully get selected into some sort of representation of the state.
Well, I'm sure if you bowl anything at training like you have out in the Super League, mate, it's only one step. So, look, mate, let's get into some pretty easy questions, I reckon. It's a bit quick fire, mate. Look, who's your favourite bowls player?
It'd have to be Rudy.
Yep, okay. Which Spartan players impressed you the most?
Probably it would have to be Nathan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apart from the Spartans, of course, which are an awesome team, from another team, who would most impress you from another team?
Set the comments.
Yep, who in the comments?
Well, they got Scotty and Jimmy. They've been bowling really well, and you also got Ashley Hills, who's a really good singles player.
Yep. All right. Your toughest opponent?
Probably Scotty Tholman.
Leading into the finals, mate, who's the player to watch? You, of course.
We're talking to him.
You, of course.
No, I reckon Kane Coolsey's been going well in
Yep.
the league so far, so I reckon he's one to watch.
Yep, Coolsey. Of course, we had Coolsey on last week, and a lot of people came back and actually have mentioned to me one-on-one about that interview with Kane, that they got a lot from that, which I'm sure they got a lot out of yours as well. Backhand or forehand preference?
My forehand.
Yep. Lead or skip?
Don't mind a bit of skipping, but
Yep. Draw or drive?
People would probably think that I'd choose to drive a bit more, but no, I don't mind a good draw shot.
So, what event or championship is on your bucket list to win, mate?
Any sort of state title, really.
Aside from your team, of course, which is Pies, which other team do you think are a threat to take this out?
It'd have to be Comets, I reckon.
Yep. Well, mate, you've made it through. Well done. Look, thanks for coming in. I'll hand over to Stuart just for a quick question. I'm sure you've got some sort of viewer question on mind.
Yeah, coming from none other than your under-18 or former under-18 teammate and Josh Studham. Are you coming to footy training tonight?
No.
And I guess the follow-up question from then. Tell us a bit about your footy career. How's the season going out? Are you in the finals mix or?
Well, I'll play with Josh at Hummocks down at Port Wakefield. And I played in the B grade this season, and we didn't quite make finals, missed out by a game. A grade are in prelim this week though, so.
Yeah, and a good win by against Malala last week as well. Lost all the regular season games and beat them in the final when it counted. So.
I'll have to do that again next week. So.
That's it, is it?
Yeah, that's
all about footy.
Yeah, onward and upward, I reckon.
Onward and upward. All right, well, let's move right along. Let's get into the upcoming week, Friday night, of course, at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Let's have a look. So moving straight into the Hyson Comets versus the South Easa Spartans. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong here, winner straight through to the grand final on the Sunday week at 1 p.m. So, as you can see on there, we've got Ash Halls versus Blake Phoebe, Grace Maloney and Scott Tholburn versus Nathan Black and Tyson Wilson, Damon Edmonds, Ben Harris, James Gregory versus Scott Binns, Tony Devlin, Ken Holtham. Well, your thoughts there, Forbesy, what do you reckon?
Well, it's going to be close, and I work with Scott Hocking, the coach of the Comets, and he was saying he was under pressure from the fact that there's no Josh Choppin available, no Cassandra Harvey, a lot of good players that he couldn't pick, but he still managed to put out a pretty strong lineup. But on the other hand, you've got the undefeated pairs, Joel with Nathan and Blake Phoebe's been in scintillating form at the moment. So I'm leaning slightly towards the Spartans, and I know I'm going to get it at work tomorrow. But sorry, Buddha.
All right, look, mate. Let's get a quick summation of yourself. How do you feel going in there with your sparring partner Nathan Black up against Grace Maloney and Scott Tholburn?
We're feeling pretty confident. Like we just keep doing what we're doing each week. We've been bowling all right. So yeah.
Yep.
Just goals.
Yeah, and of course you're dead right. Stewie, Ash Halls, Blake Feebig. Blake's been in really good form, but look, not discounting Ash Halls, who's really closed off those tight games. Look, he did drop a game to Jeff Munn by one shot, but that's Jeff ripping that bowl out. That kitty, he collected the kitty on the way through on the splash damage. Kitty could have gone anywhere, but the result went against him. But that's going to be awesome, and I'm going to go through this one and not pick anyone because I seem to be quietly walking into the car park, tail between my legs. My picking form's really bad. It's like the Lou Richards kiss of death.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They've been the Spartans and the Comets have been the form team of this competition, and I don't think it's wrong to pick one in favour of the other. They both have a story and a case for taking this whole tournament out, and I think on the night, I think the Spartans will get it done, but I think they'll be taking on the Comets and the GF.
Yep. Well, the moving right along, so the next game at 6 p.m, we'll see the Northern Knights up against the Central Chargers. See the selection there on your screen. Todd Brand versus Steve Dennis, Bernie Ward, Luke Pittersma versus Fergus Roundtree and Mark Haynes, and the triples combination of Jack Trenord, Darren Warner and Kane Cools versus Helen Minard, Ben Bowman and Renata Callista. Got any thoughts on this one, Tyson?
Both teams are looking pretty strong. But I'm thinking that Chargers might just get over the line there. They got Steve Dennis back in this week and Renata, and they
because a fellow teammate at yours at Grange.
Yeah.
So you got to be nice, right? Because Renata led in the triples early in the series. We did televise the game against the Eastern Raiders, and she was up against Dwayne Edwards and really put the pressure. And Chris Flavel was actually in the 2 slot at that stage, and he was under pressure every time he got on the mat.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game to cover, and I think it was only 4 or 5 shots in at the very end. So very capable bowler, especially against someone like Scooby's calibre. Yeah,
and so look, what's your thoughts, mate? Knights or Chargers?
Well, I mean, there's the story of the Chargers getting them last week. I think that's going to be fresh in the Knights' memory, and I reckon they'll be out for blood. So I'm putting my money on the Knights. I think they're going to be out for revenge, and I think they'll get the job done.
I'm going to break my rule from just earlier, and I'm going to pick a team here, and he's a big boy, and I don't want to upset him, but Todd Brandt might have something to say with me, but I'm going to pick the Knights. And I think that they do have the singles. That can go either way. It really can go either way. But Bernie Ward, Luke Pittersma, they're in really good form. Not discounting Mark Haynes, Fergus Roundtree at all. I think it will come down to the triples and headed up. Darren Warner's been playing the singles and been doing a really good job there and had some great success. Jack Trenorden from the under-18, I think captain of the under-18 stateside. Fantastic bowler in his own right. I think he's going to lead them off well. And look, I'm going to have to take Knights on that one. I reckon they'll get 2-1 on the rinks and the overall. There you go. So that's the kiss of death for the Knights. My apologies in advance, but so look, the winner of, as I said, of that these games, one goes through to the grand final, which is the Spartans Comets, straight through the grand final, and they get to have the rest of the night off. Of course, the loser of Comet Spartan play the winner of the Knights versus Central Chargers. So once that's been completed, coaches, we can't completely preview that game because we don't know.
Any predictions? Who might be up?
Well, it's a little bit biased. We do have Spartan in the room, but if you wanted to go on form over the season, I'd have to suggest it's going to be Spartans v Knights at 8 o'clock. So don't book tea for 8 o'clock. Dyson,
I tip the Spartans and the Knights, so I think it'll be a Comets Knights preliminary, and I think the Comets will win that.
Okay, so you reckon that the grand final is going to be Comet Spartans?
Yeah, so we've got a bit of a preview already Friday night.
All right, well there you go. So something to look forward to for next week. So, look, the grand final is 1 o'clock Sunday, September the 9th, as we suggested. And Forbes already made the prediction to be Comet Spartans. However, having said that, my predictions are going a slightly different way, and I'm sure all of you guys and girls at home have got your own predictions, and hopefully that we're wrong. So look, that's it for today's show. It's actually remarkably short this way. Well, short to some nature. We've got the first game, and we'll be 6 o'clock with the Heisen Comets, South Eastern Spartans. So actually covering off the pairs, I get to commentate Ben Harris, Damon Edmonds up against, and James Greig triple, against Scotty Binns, Tony Devlin and Ken Holtham. So, and then at 8 o'clock, well, we don't know.
Yeah,
We
mystery.
really don't know. It's going to be the mystery bag. We might pull that one out of the bag. But look, all the best to the teams competing this week. I think it's been a fantastic launch for the SA Super League, and particularly coming down to round 7 where all of the results mattered.
Oh yeah.
All the results, even into the regards to the Rogues, the Blazers. No one wanted the first inaugural wooden spoon. They fought that well. No one took it easy because the results mattered all the way through. And of course, the Pirates are looking good with 2 or 3 rounds to go, and they get to come out and watch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Friday night's going to be a great atmosphere.
Yep.
A lot of great bowling out there, and well, may the best team win.
Absolutely. Well, look, thanks for joining us today. Thanks to Stuart and Tyson for coming along. We'll see you next week, same time, 4 p.m. In the meantime, stay tuned at 6 o'clock and 8 p.m. on Friday night. Till then, thank you.